mathematicians. You guys have been doing a great job with your statistics learning. Today we're going to work on now, once we know how to do all of these things, how do we use that to compare two data sets? So I've got two different sets of data here. It's all about how many books people read in March. I have a group of students and a group of teachers. Now, remember on a dot plot, every dot, so in this case, since we're talking about people, students or teachers, every dot represents one person. So when I look here, this is the number of books they read. So one person read one book. Two people read two books. Two people read three books. Three people read four books, one person read five, and one person read six. So now what I need to do is I need to take that and put it into an organized list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list this out. So when I'm thinking this is number of books, remember, so this label of students isn't telling me down here number of students, it's telling me these are the student side of how many books they read, okay? I don't want that to be confusing. So my list, I'm going to list out how many books were read. So I have 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, and 6. So all I did was I said, okay, there's one dot at number 1. There's two dots at 2, so I list 2 twice. There's 2 dots at 3, so I list 3 twice. Now I need to find the average. So what I'm going to do to find the mean, I'm going to add all of these up. When I do that, I will find that it is 34, and I'm going to divide it by my 10 data points. So if you count up your dots, you'll see that there's 10, or if you count on your list, you'll see that there's 10. So I'm dividing it by 10. When I do 34 divided by 10, I come up with 3.4. So I could say the average number of books read by the students in March was 3.4. Now let's look at median. So to find a median, I'm going to look at my list and I'm going to work my way to the center to find what's in the middle. So I've got these two that pair up, these two, keep going. Since I have an even number, right here, I'm going to kind of circle it. 3 and 4 is my middle. So when I want to find my median, I can't say my median is 3 and 4. That doesn't make any sense. So I find the average of those two numbers or the middle point between those two. So if I have 3 and I have 4, the point in the middle of those is going to be 3.5. So the median number of books read is 3.5 for students. I can say my range is from 1 to 6. Or I can subtract it and I can say 6 minus 1 is 5. So now we're going to do the same thing, but with our teacher data. So again, this isn't number of teachers, this is number of books read by teachers. So here I have 4 people that read 3 books. So I'm going to go ahead and list that. 3, 3, 3, 3. I have 2 people read 4 books, so 4, 4. I have 1 person read 5. 2 people read 6, and 1 person read 7. So now I've got my organized list. I can use that to help me find these other pieces. So when I add up all of those numbers, I will find that my total is 44, and I'm going to divide it by 10 because I have 10 pieces of data. 10 dots, 10 on my list. So 44 divided by 10 is 4.4. So the average number of books read by teachers was 4.4. Now let's look at my median. So again, I'm going to start on the ends and work my way to the center. This time I get lucky and my number in the middle, even though there's not just one number in the middle, my 2 numbers in the middle are 4 and 4. So my median, it's a little easier on this side, is just 4. My range is 3 through 7. Or I can subtract 7 minus 3 and come up with 4. Now the difference, this is what you've been doing. The difference today is we've got 2 sets. Let's compare them. And we're going to decide, is there a significant difference between these 2 data sets? In looking at it, the average number of books read by a student was 3.4, and the average for a teacher was 4.4. That's not that drastically different, so I would say that's pretty comparable. The median for students was 3.5. The median for teachers is 4. That's pretty close. The range for students is 1 through 6 or 5, and the range for teachers is 3 through 7 or 4. Again, pretty close. Sometimes you're going to have data sets, and you're going to see some examples on what you're doing today, where the mean for one data set might be 5, and the mean for the other data set is 50. That's where we start to talk about, whoa, that's really different. So when we compare two data sets, we want to kind of look at the mean of one set compared to the mean of the other set. If they're similar, we can make a statement, meaning a sentence, that says that. The mean of the two data sets is similar, period. Then you're going to move on to compare the median. Then you move on to compare the range. You want to compare each piece of data between your two sets. I'm going to say this again because I want to remind you, you are going to have a quiz next week over data, okay, over our statistics work. Early next week, you are going to get a review that's kind of a study guide. And then mid to late next week, you're going to have your quiz. The quiz is going to count as a summative assessment, and it's going to be kind of similar to this. You're going to have two sets of data. You're going to have to find the mean, the median, and the range for each set, and then you're going to have to compare them. That comparing part is that like mathematical analysis. It doesn't have to be anything fancy though. You need to make a statement comparing them. You could say if the mean, let's say the means were really far apart, that's where you say, oh my goodness, the mean is so different. For my first data set, the mean was 2, and my second data set, the mean was 100. That is crazy how big of a difference there is. Something like that. So again, we're looking at the comparison of each thing. We're not comparing these numbers within a data set anymore. We're comparing between two data sets. So continue to email me and Schoology message me questions as you have them. Come to the virtual office hours. If you have questions, we can do some examples together of how to find these and how to look through them. Make sure that you understand how to make a dot plot. Okay, there was a step sheet on your previous assignment that walked you through how to do one on Desmos. Just make sure you know how to do that. That's really important. Wink, wink. You might have to do it again sometime. So if that's something you're not confident in, send me a message or come into the virtual office hours and we can work through that together. I hope you have a great day.